Welcome back to my kitchen. It's another beautiful, partly cloudy day here in Toronto, which means, you guessed it, the lighting in this video will be all over the place. I think it's okay right now, right? Hopefully you can see me. Welcome back to another video, guys. I feel like it's truly been a while since I filmed in my kitchen. I've been filming a lot of vlogs lately. I've been trying to do some exploring, been trying to discover Ontario. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I feel like you never really give that much credit to the place where you come from. I've really been appreciating this time of getting to explore this beautiful province, but I haven't been doing that much baking, so I thought today's the day. As you guessed it, based on the title of this video, today we're making an all-American classic chocolate chip cookies. And joining me for this all-American classic recipe, everyone's favorite all-American actress, the lovely Meryl Streep. I am obsessed with this shirt, and I'm obsessed with Meryl Streep, and I'm obsessed with chocolate chip cookies. I gave you guys a little preview of these cookies in one of my last vlogs. I think it was called like Flower Market and Chocolate Chip Cookies, something to that effect. It'll be linked up here somewhere. But in that video, I did make these cookies and I showed you guys a little bit of that process and asked you if you wanted a full video. A bunch of you said yes, and honestly, I just wanted to make chocolate chip cookies again, so I was like, why not film it? Fun fact, I found this recipe on everyone's favorite will it or won't it be deleted app, TikTok, on which I spend way too much time. I'm obsessed with TikTok. Anyway, I'm constantly on the hunt for like the perfect chocolate chip cookie recipe, and this one is like pretty delicious if you ask me. It's also super simple, which I know we all love. All right, let's do the ingredient rundown and make these cookies. I'm gonna pull the recipe up on my phone here because that's the one thing with TikTok recipes, is because the videos are so short, I'm constantly like rewatching the video 10 times to make sure I get all the instructions and measurements right. 1 cup of unsalted room temperature butter, 3/4 cups brown sugar, 2/3 a cup of white granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking soda, and chocolate. So let's pull up the recipe. I need to rewatch the TikTok because I didn't write down the instructions. Here it is.
There are a lot of chocolate chip cookies out there, but mine is perfect.
So today we are going to be using my, drum roll please, handy dandy stand mixer. Like I always say, you don't need one of these. You can do it using a handheld mixer or even do it by hand. In the actual recipe on TikTok, he does everything by hand, but because I am lazy and trying to do this quickly, I'm gonna use my stand mixer. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is cream our butter, our 2 sugars, and our vanilla extract. So I'm gonna dump them all into this bowl and mix them on probably the number 2 setting until everything is nicely combined. So I've had my butter out on the counter for probably a good hour or so. You do want this room temperature. If you didn't have a chance to get your butter out before, you can stick it in the microwave for like 10 seconds or something. You don't want it to start getting liquidy, because when you start to mix that in with the sugar, it's just a whole other thing. Like melted butter and room temperature butter, you're gonna get a very different cookie. So try to do your best to have your butter at room temperature and not resort to using the microwave. Sometimes when I see how much butter is actually going into this stuff, it's like honestly quite shocking. Here we go, 1 cup of butter going in. And we're gonna go in with 3/4 cups of brown sugar. 3. And you might be thinking, Greta, why would I use 2 different types of sugars? What does it matter? It does matter, my friend, and I'll tell you why. Brown sugar is what's gonna make your cookie nice and chewy. Whereas if you were to use all white granulated sugar, you're gonna get a much more dry, brittle cookie. So using both just makes the perfect cookie. So 2/3 a cup of our white sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm almost out. Might be helpful to actually attach our attachment here. And like I said, I'm gonna mix this on probably the 2nd or 4th setting until everything is nicely combined and your mixture is a beautiful light brown caramel color. All right, so I did use setting number 4. Everything is pretty much combined. I'm just going to take everything off the paddle here and give it one more quick mix. So this is the color you want, this beautiful sort of brown. And inside you can tell everything is beautifully combined. Oh my God, it already smells so good. And now we're gonna add our eggs. So where'd they go? Here they are. So 2 eggs straight in. I'm gonna give this another quick mix until everything is just combined. So I always watch as my stand mixer is working, and then I pause in between and just make sure I scrape down the sides or get stuff off the paddle if I find a lot of the mixture is getting stuck in some of these openings here, and then keep on mixing. All right, that looks good to me. We don't have any streaky egg bits. Everything has come together nicely. Again, you wanna go until everything is just incorporated. You don't wanna overmix your cookie dough. Now for dry ingredients, which I need to go get because I forgot to get my flour. So I have my sifter here, and I'm gonna just carefully remove my paddle for now. We are still gonna be using our paddle, but I wanna remove it for now. Just set it aside here so I can put my sifter straight onto my bowl and sift my flour into my mixture. And we'll put in 2 cups. And now we're gonna add our salt and baking soda. So we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of salt and half a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm gonna reattach my paddle. And again, on medium speed, we're gonna mix this until it's just combined. Clean the flour off the lens here. This is the kind of consistency you guys are looking for on speed 4. To achieve this consistency probably took me no more than 30 or 45 seconds. I know I keep saying it, but I really want to stress the fact that you really don't want to over mix your cookie dough. Pretty much as soon as you see everything come together, you don't see any huge flour streaks, any egg streaks like when we were mixing our wet ingredients earlier, you're good. If you want to do any further mixing, you can always hand mix. You're much less likely to over mix, I feel like, by hand than you are with a stand mixer or even a handheld mixer. This is perfect. It also smells so good. Now for the fun part, the chocolate. So I'm actually gonna remove my bowl and set my stand mixer aside because we won't be needing it anymore. So there's our beautiful cookie dough. And again, it should be the kind of consistency where if you're like moving the bowl around, you're not scared that the cookie dough is gonna fall over. So setting that aside, we are now gonna chop some chocolate. So this part really is a free-for-all in terms of what you wanna put in your cookie. You are welcome to use whatever kind of chocolate you want. If you wanna add nuts, anything like that. Today, I'm only using chocolate, but I will be using a bunch of different kinds of chocolate. So I have a milk chocolate here, a dark chocolate, and then a like almond chocolate bar, and I'm essentially just gonna chop all of these up and put them in. Also, I did mention this in the vlog, but I wanted to mention it again in this video. When it comes to chocolate chip cookies, I love to chop my own chocolate. So I use like a big bar of chocolate like this and just do a rough chop with like a big butcher knife. I just personally really love the sort of artisanal flair it gives your cookie. You have a bunch of different sized chocolate in it. You also get those really beautiful whispers of chocolate, which are kind of like the crumbs that fall off as you're chopping, the really little bits that end up just all throughout your cookie and make it extra chocolatey and delicious. But the great thing about chocolate chips is that they have a higher melting factor, which means they're gonna hold their shape better in the cookie. So yeah, it really is just personal preference. I prefer to chop my own chocolate. You're also welcome to do a mix, or you can use your chocolate chips. It's like whatever you want. It's all gonna taste delicious. Today, we're just gonna do a little chocolate medley. I'm gonna grab a plate to put my chocolate on, a knife. When it comes to chocolate and a chocolate chip cookie, I don't go by any kind of measurement. I really just eyeball it and decide how chocolatey I want these cookies to be. So it's up to you. You wanna do 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups? It's your prerogative, my friend. You do you. This is your cookie. Okay, let's get chopping. Here is our little chocolate mountain. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and then this chocolate that I had as well that is milk chocolate with slivered almonds in it. So that's gonna add a nice crunch. I could honestly just eat this. That's probably, if I had to guess, this is probably about 1.5 cups, but like I said, doesn't really matter. And this is what I meant earlier when I said like little whispers of chocolate. It's this like, almost like chocolate dust, and that's just gonna be all throughout your cookie. So we're bringing back our dough, and we're just gonna dump all of this straight into our cookie dough. And I like to hand stir my chocolate in because again, it makes sure that I don't overmix my dough, and just gonna stir until I feel like the chocolate is evenly distributed through the cookie dough. I have stirred the chocolate in. It looks absolutely beautiful. So you can see the big chunks of chocolate, and then you can see all these little bits of chocolate, which are just gonna be absolutely delightful in your cookie. And that is your cookie dough done. Now the only thing we have left to do is make our cookie dough balls. So for that, I like to get out a bowl. This is where we're gonna put all of our cookie dough balls once we're done forming them. One of my biggest tips for making cookies is that unless the recipe specifies not to do what I'm about to tell you, which it probably won't, is that you always want to make sure to refrigerate your cookies before you bake them. Minimum for about 1 to 2 hours, but ideally even overnight. I know it's annoying because you've like just made your cookie dough and you just want to throw it in the oven and eat them, but I've made a bunch of cookie recipes in my time and they always taste better if they've been refrigerated. So it's currently Friday, but I'm actually not going to bake these cookies until Sunday. So I'm going to make my cookie dough balls about 1 inch in diameter. Just going to roll them in my hands, put them in the bowl, and that's it. Let's roll some cookie dough balls. All right guys, here they are. Like I said, about 1 inch in diameter. It might be a little bit bigger. It's really up to you how big you want to make them, but I like a pretty hefty sized cookie, so that's what they look like. They were pretty easy to work with. They are going to be a little bit sticky, but they're not too bad. I actually didn't count how many there were. Let me count now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think about 18 cookies in here. As you can tell, mine are pretty well sized, so you can make these smaller or bigger depending on your preference. So now I'm just gonna cover this bowl with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge. All right guys, that's the cookie dough done. Like I said, I'm not gonna bake these for another few days, so I will check back in with you on Sunday when we bake our cookies. All right, see you in the next clip. Welcome back. Let's keep this cookie journey moving. So, pulled the cookies out of the fridge. They look the same way as they did when we put them in. Beautiful. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. Let me just double check that that's the temperature. 375. Let's knock this up a couple degrees. Great. Okay, so our oven is now preheated to 375 degrees and we're gonna get the cookies on the baking sheet. We're so close to eating them. It's so exciting. Baking sheet. I am almost out of parchment paper. Wow, I have the perfect amount of parchment paper left. Placing that onto there. Forgot my camera battery. I have my extra angle here, but camera wasn't turning on because there was no battery in it. Woo! Inception. This is one of the tricks I learned from that TikTok video. Take one of your cookie balls, then you're going to split it into 2 like that, and then stack those 2 pieces with the like exposed raw textured edge on the outside like this. And what this does, according to the TikTok recipe chef, is give your cookie some nice texture. Give it more of that artisanal flair, which we're always trying to go for. So cue this sped up montage. Now, because these cookies are pretty humongous and my baking sheet is only so big, I'm gonna start by making 6 cookies. Obviously, if you've made your cookie balls a little smaller, you can fit more cookies on here. But keep in mind, if you've done a 1 centimeter diameter cookie like me, it's pretty massive and it is gonna spread when you put it in the oven. So make sure you leave a lot of room for your cookies to spread and grow and become their delicious selves. So this is what we're working with. Peep that tasty texture. Now for the finishing touch, because we love a little sweet and salty action on this channel, we are going to sprinkle our cookies with a little pink Himalayan sea salt. All right, let's pop these bad boys into our oven. Siri, please set a timer for 14 minutes.
Okay, 14 minutes and counting.
So the cookies are in the oven for 14 minutes at 375 degrees. Now I still have a bunch of cookies left in here. So if you are in my position and you're gonna make these in the next couple days, you're probably still okay to leave them in the fridge. But if it's not gonna be another like few weeks till you bake the rest of these cookies, just pop them in an airtight container and put them in your freezer. And then when you're ready to bake them, just make sure to leave them out on the counter for a little bit so they are not rock solid. You can actually work with them maybe like 15-20 minutes before you pop them into the oven. Who in the hell put the muffins in the freezer? Actually, if you are an avid TikTok user like me, leave your favorite TikTok sound or your favorite TikTok trend in the comments down below. Maybe in the future I'll do like a TikTok themed video. We'll see. Wow, look at these beauties. So you can tell these two guys actually did spread a little bit and were attached, but it's all good. And these are definitely pretty big. Here's a little hand comparison. I love a big cookie. Let's have a little cookie moment. Beautifully browned on the bottom. You can see it's just got whispers of chocolate all over. Here we go. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, they're still warm. I'm gonna try this one. Are you kidding? You got me again, TikTok. I'm gonna eat all of these. 10 out of 10, you guys have to make them. Chef's kiss, chef's kiss. It's the sweet and salty for me. Unbelievable. All right, you guys, that is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for joining me on another delicious culinary adventure. I hope you guys try out this recipe, and if you do, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I love when you guys tag me on Instagram with all of the recipes you've recreated. It just makes my day. I have all of my social media handles down below: my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, which I, to be honest, never use, but like it's there if you want to follow it, I guess. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you want, and turn on my bell notifications, because that way you know every single time I post a video and you'll never miss it, ever. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you next time. Bye.